At a family dinner, my parents casually mentioned my sister's kids would be moving in with me while she was building her love life. You won't mind, will you? They smiled. They had no idea I had already moved into another apartment. Hi, I'm Sarah. Today I'm going to read you the story of Laura, which is titled like this: At a family dinner, my parents casually mentioned my sister's kids would be moving in with me while she was building her love life. You won't mind, will you? They smiled. I said nothing. They had no idea I had already moved into another apartment. Well, let's go. My name is Laura and I'm 32 years old. I work as an accountant at a trading company, nothing fancy but it pays the bills. I live in a rented apartment on the east side of town, small but cozy. Every other Saturday, I drive to my parents' house for dinner. It's become this routine that I can't seem to break, even though half the time I'd rather just stay home and binge, watch Netflix. But family is family, right? That's what my mother always says. This particular Saturday started like all the others. I pulled into my parents' driveway and saw my sister Jennifer's beat-up Honda already there. Jennifer is 3 years older than me, she's 35, and she has 3 kids: Emma who's 12, Jake who's 10, and little Sophie who just turned 8. They're good kids, don't get me wrong, but they're a handful. And Jennifer, well, she's been divorced for 2 years now, and it's been a wild ride ever since. The thing is, my parents pay half of Jennifer's rent, and I pay the other half. Not that I mind helping the kids. They didn't ask for any of this. But sometimes I wonder if Jennifer would try a little harder to get back on her feet if she wasn't getting so much help. I knocked on the door and heard the usual chaos from inside: kids yelling, my mother's voice trying to restore order, and my father's TV blaring some sports show. Laura's here. My mother called out as she opened the door. Mom is 58, still works part-time at the local library, and has this way of making everything sound like either a crisis or a celebration. There's no middle ground with her. Dad looked up from his recliner and nodded. He's 61, retired from the post office last year, and spends most of his time watching sports or complaining about his blood pressure medication. Hey kiddo, he said, work. Same old, numbers don't lie, but people sure do try to make them. He chuckled and went back to his game. I made my way to the kitchen where I found Jennifer trying to get Sophie to stop pulling Jake's hair while Emma sat at the counter scrolling through her phone like nothing was happening. This is my sister Jennifer. She's pretty, always has been, with blonde hair and blue eyes that she knows how to use to her advantage. But she's also the kind of person who thinks the world revolves around her problems. Since her divorce, she's been on this mission to find a new husband, going on dates constantly and leaving the kids with whoever's available, usually me. At least twice a week, Jennifer shows up at my apartment after work with all 3 kids in tow. She'll have that look on her face, you know, the one that says she needs a favor but she's gonna act like she's doing you one. Hey Laura, she'll say, I know this is last minute, but I have a date tonight and I really need someone to watch the kids. And what am I supposed to say? No, let the kids suffer because their mother can't plan ahead. So I end up canceling my plans, ordering pizza for 4, and spending my evening refereeing fights and trying to get 3 kids to do homework they don't want to do. Emma's okay, she's almost a teenager and mostly keeps to herself. But Jake and Sophie, they're like tiny tornadoes. They fight constantly, they're picky eaters, and they have more energy than a power plant. By the time Jennifer comes back around 11 p.m., I'm exhausted and they're finally asleep. For the best sister ever, she'll say, scooping up the sleeping kids. I don't know what I'd do without you. Then she's gone and I'm left cleaning up the mess and wondering why I never say no. The weekends are even worse. Jennifer and Mom will decide they need to go shopping, and somehow I end up babysitting all day, not asked, told, like it's just assumed that I have nothing better to do with my time. I've tried bringing it up before. I've said things like, Jen, I need some personal time too, or maybe we should set up a schedule, so this isn't always last minute. But every time I do, she starts crying and talking about how hard it is to be a single mom, and how she just needs to find someone who can be a father to her kids. Then my parents jump in with their favorite lecture about how family comes first, and how I'm being selfish for not wanting to help my sister in her time of need. Selfish. Like I haven't been helping for the past 2 years, but tonight felt different. As we all sat down for dinner, Jennifer had this look on her face. She was practically glowing and she kept exchanging these nose-knowing glances with my parents. So, she said, cutting into her pot roast, I have some news. My parents nodded like they already knew what was coming. I met someone, Jennifer continued. His name is David, and he's really great. We've been seeing each other for about 3 weeks now. That's wonderful, honey, Mom said, beaming. The thing is, Jennifer went on, I really think this could be something serious. He's different from the other guys I've dated. He's stable, he has a good job, and he's looking for something real. I waited for the other shoe to drop. There's always another shoe with Jennifer. The only thing is, she said, glancing at the kids who were making a mess of their food, I haven't told him about Emma, Jake, and Sophie yet. I want to make sure we're solid before I bring them into it. I should have seen it coming. Jennifer never just shares good news. There's always a catch, always something she needs. So anyway, Jennifer continued, completely ignoring the fact that Sophie was now flicking peas across the table at Jake. David asked me to go away with him this weekend. There's this really nice mountain resort about 2 hours from here, and he got us a cabin. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. Here we go. The thing is, Jennifer said, looking directly at me now, I need someone to watch the kids. Just for the weekend, Saturday morning to Sunday evening. I put my fork down. This weekend, Jennifer, I can't. It's my best friend Amy's birthday party on Saturday night. I already RSVP'd and everything. The table went quiet, even the kids stopped their shenanigans and looked up. Before Jennifer could answer, Mom jumped in. Laura, honey, your sister is more important than some friend's birthday party. Some friend. I felt my voice getting louder. Amy has been my best friend since college, and I'm tired of being the default babysitter every time Jennifer has a date. Jennifer's eyes were getting watery. I can't believe you're being like this. I'm being realistic. I watch them twice a week already. I pay half your rent. When do I get to have a life? You're being selfish, Mom said sharply. Jennifer needs to establish her personal life. Then maybe she should tell David about the kids instead of lying. Jennifer's face went white, then red. She grabbed her purse and the kids' backpacks, practically dragging them out the door. Sophie was crying now, not understanding why everyone was upset. I heard the car door slam and the engine start. The house fell silent except for the tick of the grandfather clock in the hallway. Then it started. Are you happy now? Mom asked, her voice cold. She's a single mother going through a hard time. She deserves to find someone who can be a father to those children. And I deserve to have my own life. You're being selfish, Laura. Family comes first. Fine, you care so much about Jennifer's love life, you watch Emma, Jake, and Sophie for the weekend. I can't do that, Mom said immediately. My back has been killing me all week. I threw it out moving that bookshelf. And I've got blood pressure issues, Dad added. My grandmother says I need to avoid stress. 3 kids for a whole weekend. That's too much. They kept going for 20 minutes. They tag-teamed me with guilt trips and accusations.